Hey everyone, Daniel from Team Kuribrohs here, and today we have the full set list revealed for Rising Rampage for the TCG, which means not only do we have confirmation of the 80 cards from the OCG, but we also have the 10 imports and the 10 world premieres. So without further ado, this video we are going to be looking at the TCG exclusive cards. A reminder that this set is the first set of a new block, which means that dangers are no more. There aren't going to be any time thieves. It's all new TCG focus this set. So let's just look at what we got. So first off, we have card 0 in the set, Capsule. So Capsule, this is clearly a reference to the Gashapon machines that are very popular in Japan. You see the Capsule machines in Europe and America as well, but definitely a lot more popular in Japan. This card's really interesting. Art-wise, the art I could take it or leave it, but it is a Dark Fiend monster, which is good typing and it's level 2. And in addition, if it is used for a tribute, as a fusion synchro or a link material, or is detached by an Xyz monster for its effect, you get to draw one card. This makes the card really interesting and definitely has potential to see play in lots of decks, due to the fact that it means generically, if you are playing a deck which can play this card, you can protect the monster you summon with it from any hand trap or any Solemn Strike counter trap style effects, because it means your opponent won't be able to respond to the on-summon effect of your monster, because Capsule will be able to be placed as the highest chain link in the chain. So that's quite interesting. I think this card has a lot of potential, so we'll have to see what people are able to find to do with it. But again, it has good typing, it has good stats. There are lots of cards that will be able to interact with it. Following on from this, we have the least exciting cards for the TCG exclusives in my mind. So we have Star Power and Fuma Wave. So Star Power is a quick play spell, which says, during damage calculation, if your link monster battles an opponent's monster, your monster gains attack equal to the total levels/ranks of the monsters it points to times 400 during the damage calculation only. You can only activate one Star Power per turn. Potentially, this represents a lot of damage, but realistically, we have seen that combat-based spells and traps just aren't very good. Like, we have Honest at 3 and it is not seeing play. Star Power is conditional, very high ceiling, but very conditional. It won't see play, but it is a fine card design. Fuma Wave, again, fair card design. It references Getsu Fuma and Ryu Koki, which are two old monsters from back like Invasion of Chaos around that period, which is cool to see. I like both of the cards' designs, and this is an interesting card design in that you can target one face-up monster on the field, destroy one monster on the field with the same attribute, but a different name as that monster. So, I mean, it's not going to see play. We have much more impactful trap cards in the format, but it is a completely fine trap card design. But yeah, it's not doing anything. More interestingly, we have Barcade Blocker, and this is a card that excites me. It's a Link 2, which is Dark Machine with 1000 attack, and it has a right arrow and a down arrow. Its requirements for summoning is 2 monsters with different names. And it has, when it's link summoned, you can discard one card. So it's almost a nightmare, but it doesn't draw a card. However, if you discard a card during the end phase, you add back one continuous or field spell from your graveyard to your hand. That's a hard once per turn on that effect, so you can only use it once. But also it has a continuous effect. Face-up spells you control cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. So this card's very interesting. It has potential to see play in Sky Striker. It gives you more protection for your multi-roll. You're not sitting on a Shizuku in that case, but being able to protect your multi-roll in grindy matchups could be important. And then also it lets you recur multi-roll or field spells when it's summoned Potentially has places in other decks, but definitely an interesting card and one to keep an eye on. Following that, we have the Desperate Doom Eagle. So it is a Linktree Wind Monster Winged Beast with 2400 attack, and it requires 2 or more Wind Monsters to Link Summon. It gains 2400 attack while your opponent has no monsters in their graveyard, which is a cute effect, and it definitely makes it very large, which could be relevant in some formats, but not so much in this one because there are already decks with very high ceilings. The more interesting effect is it has a quick effect that you can target a monster in your opponent's graveyard and shuffle it into their deck. You can only use that effect once per turn. But this is interesting because it could have applications against Sky Striker if there is a popular wind deck in the format, because you can return their right to their deck, and then if they have no monsters, when you attack their link monster, you're attacking with 4/8 attack. So that's quite good. Could see a place. It's sufficiently generic that it could do something, but I don't see a place for it at the moment. That said, Tempest is back, the Wind Dragon Ruler, so there could be a place for it yet. Following on from this, we have the TCG archetype for this set. So the archetype is called Dream Mirror. There are 7 cards in total for it, which is a lot of cards. And yet, despite that, I don't see a deck of Dream Mirror being played yet in the format. So the concept of Dream Mirror is that we have Dream Mirror of Joy and Dream Mirror of Terror, which are both field spells, and all of the monsters in the archetype look like they will have counterparts for both mirror versions. So Dream Mirror of Joy and Terror both have the same first effect, which is during the end phase you can banish them to activate one Dream Mirror of the opposite version directly from your hand or deck. And that's a hard once per turn on that effect. Then Dream Mirror of Joy says Dream Mirror monsters you control cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects or their monster attacks, except for the monsters with the highest level. And that effect is only applied if you control a light Dream Mirror monster. And then Dream Mirror of Terror says each time your opponent special summons a monsters, inflict 300 damage to your opponent, and it's only applied while you control a dark Dream Mirror monster. So realistically, the light mirror doesn't seem terribly impactful. You would prefer to have the non-targeting on your big monsters, because that would, as we'll see when we see the monsters, it would make them close to a Dark Destroyer, which could be quite good. But in future sets it could become stronger. The effect of Terror to deal damage is interesting, but it doesn't really mesh with any of the other cards in the archetype, so we'll have to see if there's more to them. As it is though, the mirrors are activators for the rest of the format, or for the rest of the archetype, so they are important, and you most likely will play 6 of them if you are playing this deck. Then we have the first trap card for the deck, which is Dream Mirror Fantasy. If you control a Dream Mirror monster, you can target one each of your banished Dream Mirror of Joy and Dream Mirror of Terror, shuffle them into your deck, and if you do, banish one card on the field. It's a better Cosmojo, or maybe it's a worse Cosmojo, but non-targeted banish is good. You could play this card realistically in the format, because on your first end phase you'll be able to banish a copy of each mirror if you want to. Additionally, if it's in the graveyard and a Dream Mirror card you control would be destroyed by Battle Art card effect, you can banish it from your graveyard instead. So that's fine. It's like not super exciting, and the problem is it doesn't offer any engine ability to the deck, but it's a completely serviceable trap card. Going on to the monsters, we have 4 monsters, effectively 2 monsters with 2 different versions. So we have Ikelos, the Dream Mirror Sprite, and Ikelos, the Dream Mirror Mara. One is the Light Fairy level 1 with 0 attack, 500 defense, and then the mirror version is the Dark Fairy level 1 with 500 attack, 0 defense. They both say that if you control the opposite mirror to their type, so with the light version if you can control Dream Mirror of Terror, or with the dark version if you control Dream Mirror of Joy, you can tribute them as a quick effect to special summon the other version. Then the light version has, if it's special summoned by a Dream Mirror monster, you can add a Dream Mirror card from deck to hand, except itself. And then the dark version says, if it's summoned by a Dream Mirror monster, you can special summon a Dream Mirror from your hand, except itself. So those are fine. Having a searcher is really good. Having something that lets you special summon the searcher in multiple ways is really good. So these seem like strong cards for the archetype, but you need to have payoff on top of that. The payoff we have at the moment is Morpheus, the Dream Mirror White Knight, and Morpheus, the Dream Mirror Dark Knight. Again, they have inverse stats. Importantly, Morpheus, the Dream Mirror Black Knight, does have 2,800 attack and 1,000 defense. This means that he will interact with certain Monarch cards. Domain of the Monarch can be used with him. So that potentially could do something. We'll need to see if people are able to find interactions that make it worthwhile. Again, the Morpheuses can swap out for each other if you have the corresponding field spell. The Light Morpheus cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects the turn it's summoned. And the Black Knight lets you destroy a card on the field by targeting it. So overall, the Dream Mirror archetype is very interesting from a design point of view. Like, it has a bit of a Cosmo feel in terms of there's a lot of tagging out and bouncing about, but the cards do a lot of stuff. And in terms of flavor, they're very cool because you have the idea of the kind of light and dark versions of them existing in different worlds. So I like them in terms of that. I don't see this being a playable archetype in the coming format, but with more support, they potentially could start doing stuff. So definitely a fun deck to check out, and if you're playing more casual games, worth checking out. But for the competitive player, the standout TCG cards here definitely are Capsule. This is a card that is likely to see play in some sort of combo decks. Barcade Blocker and the Desperate Doom Eagle are the other ones that potentially will see play. So that's general first impressions of the TCG cards. If you have any thoughts yourself, let us know. The full list is going to be in the description of this video. So let us know what you think of the Rising Rampage TCG exclusives, and we will be back with more commentary on the other cards from the set coming soon. Thanks for joining us. Talk to you later.